Hello everybody, welcome to the session. In this session, we are going to discuss the questions that were asked in CSIR June 2022 paper from Unit 11. Okay, so we are actually going to discuss only the morning shift questions in this video. So Unit 11, as you all know, belongs to evolution and behavior, and in this from this unit this time quite a good number of questions were asked. So around 3 part B questions and 4 part C questions were asked. Okay, now you all know that there is a thin line between evolution and the unit 9. Okay, so there's a topic which is adaptive radiation, can be considered as a part of unit 9 or in unit 11 also. So a question from adaptive radiation did come this time, and we are going to discuss it as a part of unit 11. Okay, so if we consider that, so there are 3 part B questions and 4 part C questions in morning shift that was asked from the topic of unit 11, evolution and behavior. Now there were some surprises, some very popular questions like from Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. It was completely ignored, not a single question, not a statement based question, not even a numerical question was asked from that from that topic. Apart from that, some common topics did come in the question paper, like parental investment and the geological time scale. Actually, this time a lot of weightage was given to the geological time scale. Anyways, let's get started here. So first question from part B: consider a predator species foraging for prey in a habitat where there are 2 prey species A and B. Now assume that the foraging predator can choose from a high value prey A and a low value prey B. So we just make a column here for our better understanding. So this is prey A and this is prey B. So the energy value that is obtained from A is high, whereas for B it is low. Okay. Now A and B occur at different frequencies in the environment, so it may take different average times to find the next A or B individual. Now from this information, we have to choose the correct option based on the optimal foraging theory. Now for this, we should be very clear with what is optimal foraging theory. So according to this optimal foraging theory, it says that an individual will try to get a food that will give it high energy with low energy spent on acquiring it. Okay, so with low effort, you can say, right? This is how we all feel, right? That we want to get the maximum work done with the minimum effort, right? So similar is the concept for optimal foraging theory, that an individual will try to settle for a method that will give it high energy value, so it will be able to acquire high energy food with minimal effort. Okay, that is what is called as optimal foraging theory. Now let's see what all statements are given here. So first states that if it takes too long to search for A, predators may switch to eating B only. Second, if it takes too long to search for A, predators may eat both A and B, whichever is encountered. Next, predators will only feed on B regardless of the search time. And next, predators will never feed on B irrespective of its relative frequency. Okay. Now see, yes, definitely that when the energy is high for A, so predator would prefer A. Okay, but it will prefer A considering the effort given for acquiring A and B is same. But here what is the condition? That if it takes too long for search for A, okay, that means the predator is losing its time. Okay, so it is putting a lot of effort in order to getting a high energy food, so that will not be optimum foraging. So according to optimum foraging, what it will do that if it takes too long to search for A, then the predators will start eating both A and B, whichever it encountered. Okay, and it can even switch to eating B only even if after looking for a long time to search for A, the chance for catching prey A is lesser as compared to B. Okay, so in that situation, the predator can even switch to eating B completely and ignore A. Okay, but since here it is not the case, so if the time is too long, then the predator will try to eat both A and B, whichever it gets first. So answer will be option 2. So the central assumption of optimal foraging theory is that an animal will increase its fitness by minimizing the time and effort and required to acquire the maximum amount of energy from the food. Okay, so it will switch to both eating both prey A and prey B. The next question, any movie that features dinosaur should also have which of the following combinations of geological age appropriate organism? Choose the correct combination. Okay, so movie with dinosaur. I hope all of you have watched Jurassic Park, right? There are so many versions of so many parts of Jurassic Park. I'm very sure all of you have watched on one or more of that. So what it says that, so basically here it's not asking about you about the movie Jurassic Park. It is more of asking you about the geological time scale. So here first you have to correlate that at which time dinosaurs were present. Okay, so which geological era dinosaur was present? They were present in the Mesozoic era. Okay, and in the Mesozoic era, it is further divided into 3 periods. Okay, the first is Triassic, then Jurassic, and then Cretaceous. Okay, now Triassic period of the Mesozoic era, the dinosaurs evolved and they became the dominant species during the Jurassic. Okay, and towards the end of the, so in Cretaceous period also they were the dominating species, and at the end, okay, of Cretaceous period, the dinosaurs got extinct because of the mass extinction. So basically, once you have understood that we are talking about Jurassic era, so what you have to find out, you have to correlate it with what all plant species were present or what all other animal species were present at this Jurassic in this Mesozoic era. Okay, so this option 1 says humans, angiosperms and gymnosperms and birds, and option 3, if you say, it talks about apes, gymnosperms and birds. Now humans, apes or any primate, the entire evolution of primate happened during the next era, the Cenozoic era that started after Cretaceous period. Okay, although mammals were there during the Triassic period of Mesozoic era, but the mammals, they were small mammals, okay, not primates. The primates, apes, humans, they came last in the geological scale. Okay, so definitely 1 and 3 you can opt it out. Now second, it says early diverging angiosperm, reptiles, amphibians, and the fourth says early diverging gymnosperms, amphibians and reptiles. Okay, so the basic difference here is with the angiosperms and gymnosperms. Now gymnosperms, they came first and angiosperms came later. Okay, now when we talk about Mesozoic era, so in terms of plants which was dominant, the gymnosperms were dominant. Okay, so definitely that means the evolution of early gymnosperms have happened before the Mesozoic era. In fact, it has happened during the previous era, okay, the Paleozoic era, right? So it is not gymnosperms. Gymnosperms were the dominant plant species in this era. So it will be the next species what it came, the angiosperms. So it will be the early diverging angiosperms, because angiosperms evolved in this and they were just diverging, and over the next era, okay, towards the end of the Cretaceous period and the Cenozoic era, the angiosperms diverged a lot. Okay, so answer option 4 is also not true. Answer will be option 2. Sorry, option 4 is not true. Answer is option 2. Sorry. Okay, so answer will be option 2, where in the time when dinosaurs were there, so they should have shown angiosperms, the early diverging angiosperms, large number of reptiles, and for sure amphibians. Now, next question, one more question from the geological time scale. The correct hierarchy of geological times. Now, this is very, very simple, very, very basic. Even if you don't remember the geological time scales, the important events, anything, still you will be able to answer this question. It's that easy, right? So, eon, era, period, epoch. Okay, so out of all these 4 options, option 1 is the correct sequence in which the scales are arranged. Okay, so what do we mean by geological time scale? Is the calendar of events in Earth's history. It is subdivided all time into named units of abstract time, okay, called in descending order of duration: eon, era, period, epoch, and ages. Okay, so basically eon is the biggest time unit. So one eon will comprise of many eras. One era will comprise of many periods. So one eon will comprise of many eras. One era will comprise of many periods. One period will comprise of many epoch, and one epoch will comprise of many ages. Okay, and if you want to further break down ages, then it will be years. Okay, in terms of years, you can say, or million years ago. That is how we do. Okay, so years, if you say, it will be too small a unit to describe the Earth's evolutionary history. That's why this abstract times are taken, or time scales are taken. Now that was all about the part B questions. 3 part B questions were there. Now moving on to part C question. So yes, one type of question that is very common these days is match the following kind, and this match the following kind for sure comes, like 1 or 2 match the following questions for sure comes from unit 11, and this time also one match the following came. Okay, so evolutionary process is given here and characteristic is given. Okay, select the correct option that matches the evolutionary process to its salient characteristic. So in this match the following, so all the match the following kind of questions, okay, irrespective of from which unit it is, it's very easy and everybody should attempt it. In fact, you should attempt it first, because if you are able to correlate only 1 or 2 concepts also, by that you can choose the correct answer very easily. Okay, now let's see this one only. So there's parallelism, convergence, introgression, and hybridization. Okay, let's start with the simplest, hybridization. What is hybridization? When you crossbreed different species. Okay, so individuals of different species crossbreed. So D is 2 for sure. Now check out where is D is 2. So definitely 1 and 4 you can cancel it out. So one of the option out of 2 and 3 will be the answer. Now let's talk about introgression. Introgression is also crossbreeding, but it is also mediated in between crossbreeding of different species. It will be mediated by repeated back crossing. Okay, that is what is introgression. So C is 3. So C is 3 is only there in option 2. So you can just eliminate option 3 and you have got your answer just by matching 2 concepts. Okay, but yes, we will see the other 2 also. There's parallelism and convergence. Okay, now what is convergence? So convergence basically it means like this. Okay, so in convergence what happens is two unrelated or two distantly related species which do not have same characters, somehow they develop a similar characteristic. Okay, that is what we called as convergence evolution. So they are distantly related or not related, but so basically it means that the ancestors were more different from each other compared to the descendants. The descendants will have the similarity in their character, and that is usually not because of the genetic relatedness between the ancestors. It is more because of the selection pressure living in the same ecosystem. Okay, so that is what is called as convergence or the convergent evolution. Okay. So two or more distantly related groups acquire similar characteristic like this. It will be called as convergent evolution. Now what is parallelism? Parallelism calls as closely related groups evolve similar characteristics. Okay. So it's not exactly like they are closely related, but basically it means it parallel. Okay, so that means parallel lines. So that means that if there are two individuals, two ancestors, okay, and there are two descendants, okay, so the descendants will get the similar characteristic, and those characteristics will be developed from the ancestral characteristic that was present in both the ancestors. Okay, so basically the descendants are also equal amount similar to each other as the ancestors were there. Okay, as the similarity was there between the ancestors, similar amount of similarity will be there between the descendants. So that is what is called as parallelism. So it will be A1, B4, C3 and D2, option 2. Okay, so this is what I was meaning. So in parallelism, it means that when two species are similar in a particular character, evolution is defined as parallel if ancestors shared the similarity. Okay, and if the ancestors are sharing the similarity, and on the basis of that similar character only, the newly developed characters were formed. Okay, or evolved. Convergent evolution, the ancestors don't have the similarity, okay, but the descendants have developed the similar character. So it is converging. And hybridization is the crossbreeding of individuals between different species, and introgression is the transfer of genes between species mediated by backcrossing. Next question from part C, which is about the adaptive radiation. So this question, yes, it is sometimes it becomes difficult to differentiate the questions and divide it into different groups in the syllabus. Okay, so this adaptive radiation, you can consider it as a part of unit 9 or unit 11. The concept remains same. Okay, there is no difference in the concept that you learn in unit 9 or you learn in unit 11. It remains same. So it's talking about adaptive radiation. Now what is adaptive radiation? Adaptive radiation talks about the fast diversification of a group into different species, large number of species, because of the evolutionary processes. Okay, so when so the best example of adaptive radiation is Darwin's finches. Okay, so in case of Darwin's finches, as we see, so from the original finch that was present in the mainland, when it diverged and it migrated to different islands of the group, then they all encountered different environment. They adapted themselves according to the different environment that they have, and that is how they developed different features, and ultimately it led to the speciation. Okay, so adaptive radiation is the rapid diversification of a single lineage into many species that inhabit a variety of environment and use a variety of resources and differ in traits required to exploit this. Okay, so what are the statements given here? So adaptive radiation is a kind of divergent evolution driven by ecological diversification. Absolutely correct. It's a divergent evolution where a common ancestral species divides into multiple descendant species or evolves into multiple descendant species. So for sure it's a divergent evolution. A is correct. B, adaptive radiation is the divergence of unrelated taxa into different niches. Now that is wrong. It's not unrelated taxa. It's the same parental taxa goes and explores different niches or different habitats, and because of that they encounter or they evolved into different groups of species. Okay, so this statement B is wrong. Statement C, adaptive radiation is rare on archipelagos removed from the main island. Now, what for that? Like, to understand this statement is very easy, but yes, you might be confused between the in the meaning of this word. Okay, so archipelagos means group of islands. So adaptive radiation is rare on group of islands removed from mainland. Now that is absolutely wrong, because what Darwin observed with the finches is the opposite, right? So when the main island will divide into different islands, okay, so then the group of organisms which goes to different islands, they will adapt themselves according to the different environment. Since there will be no gene flow between the groups, so there will be no exchange of the genetic adaptations, and because of that they will lead to rapid diversification. Okay, so this is not rare, it should be common on the archipelagos that are removed from the island. So again, statement C is wrong. Now statement D says that processes unrelated to niche exploitation can be major drivers of species diversification. Okay, so niche exploitation is also a reason of adaptive radiation, but it is not the only reason. Okay, now sometimes what happens when the organisms migrate to different groups. Okay, so as a group migrated to different islands, okay, so that will cause them to adapt to the environment of the island, and without any gene flow between the groups, it will result into rapid diversification. Apart from that, if a group, a competitor suddenly goes extinct, okay, then it will make the other food or other niches in the ecosystem available for this group, and which will again exploit different food sources, different state of habitats, and that will result into new formation of new descendant species rapidly. Okay, so that will also cause adaptive radiation. So it's not always niche exploitation that causes adaptive radiation, but other forces like mass extinction or migration, okay, that also results into adaptive radiation rapidly. So option D is also correct. So answer will be statement A and D, option 4. So other opportunities arise as a new food resource, a mass extinction of competitor or predators, and colonization of new land or environment will result into adaptive radiation. Now another question from geological time scale. So at least in the morning shift, they gave a lot of importance to geological time scale, where 2 part B questions and 1 part C question, which is quite huge if you see the entire chunk. So out of 7 questions from unit 11, 3 in morning shift was asked from the geological time scale only. So the diagrams A to D below shows the relative abundance of major groups of plants in 4 different geological periods: Devonian, Carboniferous, Tertiary, and Cretaceous. Okay. Now match the diagrams A to D to the correct geological period. Right. Now to do this matching, so here the legends are given. Okay, so here also this tests how well you can interpret this kind of bar diagrams. Okay, so you have to read them carefully. You have to keep into account these legends that are given. All right, so as you see here in part B, it is only the squared boxes, means early vasculars. So early vasculars are developing in B. Then in A, it is what all are there? There is pteridophytes down here. Then there are gymnosperms. I'm just writing it down: pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Okay, for B, it is only the early vasculars. For C, again, it is pteridophytes, gymnosperm, and angiosperm. But the angiosperms portion is higher. That means lot of diversification of angiosperms are happening. D, it shows the pteridophytes and gymnosperms, right? But you see the area under gymnosperm is so small, means it is the early evolution of gymnosperm that is happening in D. Okay, now the age, the periods that are given to us. Okay, so the best will be if we arrange them in a order first. Fine. So Devonian, it happened first, then came Carboniferous, then came Cretaceous, okay, then came Tertiary. Okay, now see here, the periods that are given to you, they are not given in the order. Okay, so always cross check it. Don't just go that it is given in the order and we will fit the evolution of the plants in this. Okay, so write it down. So Devonian is Devonian and Carboniferous is from the Paleozoic era. Cretaceous is from the Mesozoic era, and Tertiary period is the Cenozoic era. Okay, now let's look at it. So pteridophyte. So as you see, pteridophyte, this early vascular plants. Okay, so that should be the minimal basis, right? Because if you talk about pteridophytes, gymnosperm, angiosperm, they are all vascular plants. Okay, so the early evolution of vascular plants should be when? Should be in the period that came the first. Okay, which is the Devonian period. Okay, so B is D. Devonian. So for Devonian, it is for sure B. Now, once you have identified that, do you see, you can very well, just with one fitting properly, you can cancel out all the other options, right? But we will see them all as well. So next is the Carboniferous. So next will be what? So once the vascular plants have developed, then the pteridophytes will come and the gymnosperms will start their early evolution. So according to the next graph, it should be D. Okay, and according to the period, what it should be, the next period given, that is Carboniferous. So Carboniferous will be D. Next is Cretaceous. So after gymnosperms have developed much, then the angiosperms will come. So angiosperms, first it will be the early development of angiosperms and then only the greater diversification. So early development of angiosperms happen here. Okay, so A. So Cretaceous will be graph A, and for sure Tertiary will be for graph C. Alright, so as you see the legends here, so A for Cretaceous, B for Devonian, C for Tertiary, and D for Carboniferous. Okay, so once you arrange them like this, alright, and even if you don't remember, then also you can correlate by going by this logic of how the plant development could have happened. Okay, so this table is also there, which kind of shows the evolution of all the plants. Okay, especially for the plants, the evolution process that happened during the different periods are given here. Okay, so this this dotted period means early evolution. Okay, and when it becomes strong means it has become highly diversified. Now the last question actually from unit 11 that was asked in part C. So which one of the following statement best describes Bateman's principle? Okay, now Bateman's principle talks about the parental investment cost. Okay, so according to Bateman's principle, in the males, the reproductive success is decided by how many females do they inseminate. Okay, but in case of females, the reproductive success is decided by how many eggs the female produce. Okay, so if I write it down, so for males, the reproductive success is decided by number of mates. Okay, how many number of females it inseminates. Okay, so more the number they inseminate, higher will be their reproductive success. But for females, it is not the opposite. It is not dependent on the males, but it depends. The reproductive success is dependent on the number of eggs they produce. Okay, so they are limited by the number of eggs. So it doesn't matter if the female is mating with multiple partner, but still the chance of reproduction will be on basis of the eggs, okay, because the eggs are costlier to produce as compared to the sperms. All right. So because the males can increase their reproductive success by mating with multiple partners. So in case of males, the reproductive variance, that is the distribution of variation in their reproductive success, will be higher. Okay. So as you see the statements here, so first says that female gametes are costlier than male gametes. So this is also partly true for Bateman's principle, but the statement that describes best, okay, that will be statement 2, which says that reproductive variance is greater in males than in females, because in males their success of reproduction is decided by the number of females they inseminate. Statement C says that females are more likely to provide parental care than males. Fourth says that males are use costly display to advertise their genetic quality. Now, all the statements are correct, but they are not about Bateman's principle. Okay, because Bateman's principle talks about the mating behavior of males and females in the organisms. So Bateman concluded that from his experiment that he did in Drosophila, that because single ova are more costly to produce than a single sperm, number of offsprings produced by female fruit fly was limited mainly by her ability to produce eggs, whereas reproductive success of male was limited by the number of females that he inseminated. Okay. Therefore, reproductive variance in male is greater than that in females. Okay, so the best statement that describes Bateman's principle will be statement 2. Alright, so with this we come to the end of question discussion of unit 11. I have taken out all the questions, and please everyone stay tuned to Biotechnica, and we will be having the question discussion for each and every unit from this CSIR paper. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Bye bye. Have a good day.